You see this picture? This was Abraham Lincoln's housekeeper that told him how to get baptized in the middle of the night before he went to the White House. You got to hear this story. I'm going to tell you a story today that I bet you've never heard before. It's about Abraham Lincoln. I was doing a lot of research on Abraham Lincoln for a documentary that I recently released called Red Storm Rising. And I wanted to talk about the journey that Abraham Lincoln took to free the slaves after the Civil War. Well, it turns out it was as much a spiritual journey as it was anything else. I found this book in a bookstore, and I was so excited. It's about the unknown private life of Abraham Lincoln. And the stories are told by this woman that was his housekeeper. Her name was Mariah Vance. Okay? She worked for him up until the time he went to the White House. Well, let me show you this. This is really cool. There was a woman that lived nearby who was a secretary. She was so fascinated by the stories this woman would tell that she actually transcribed what Mariah told her. She wrote it down word for word. I mean, the incorrect English or funny way to say thing and all. It's exactly like she said it. Well, so here we are in recent times. Some authors took it and they turned it into a book. And all the front of the book is an exact replication of the handwritten letters. Well, now let me tell you about the story that was so cool. Right before he went to the White House, when he was packing up to go, he asked her, he said, "Mariah, what did you think about getting baptized?" And she said, "Oh, Mr. Lincoln, it was the greatest thing I ever did." And he says, "Well, what makes you say that? How can you say so positively, so emphatically, it was the greatest thing you ever did?" And she says, "I'll tell you why. It's the only thing I know for sure that I did that Jesus himself did." And Abraham Lincoln said, "Wow. Well, I would sure like to get baptized because I'm going to need all the help I can get once I get up there to the White House." He said, "But here's my only problem. I really want to get baptized, but if I tell Mama," that's what he called his wife, if he told Mama, she was going to make a big to-do out of it and have a big party and everybody was going to have to come, and he didn't want that. He just wanted it private, like between him and God. And he said, "I feel really bad. I feel like it's sinful for me not to tell Mama I want to do this, but I don't want to do it if I tell her and she makes a big deal. So I don't know what to do." And she said, "Mr. Lincoln, it's very simple. Do it at night." He said, "Oh my gosh, you have saved me." So here's what he did. Oh, and there was another reason he did not want to tell his wife, because she went to this Presbyterian church that he didn't think much of, because he thought they were more about what each other thought than instead of what God thought. And it wasn't genuine to him, and he didn't want to become a member of that Presbyterian church. So after he got this idea, he wired the pastor of the Baptist church that had overseen the funeral of his mother. So this pastor comes, and in the middle of the night, they go out to a river not far away, and he got baptized. Now, the way the authors of this book verified this story 3 different ways. And one of the ways is there was talk about how these waiters, 2 pair of waiters, were hanging up in what we'd call the laundry room back then, the next morning after. And in the church that this pastor pastored, they had written down notes of when the pastor had gone and baptized this Abraham Lincoln and made him an official member of the church. So anyway, I thought that was an amazing story. I loved reading that story because I'd never heard it before, and I bet you hadn't either. And I'm telling you, I don't even know if you can find this book anymore, but if you're interested in history, Abraham Lincoln, this book is gold. Anyway, if you want to hear more about Lincoln and what went on, check out our new documentary, Red Storm Rising, at redstormrisingmovie.com. I'm Sandra Hartstone. I'll see you next time.